Hey guys, got another lens review for you. Right now I'm going to be taking a look at the Nikon DX zoom. It's a 55 to 200 millimeter Nikkor zoom lens. This is a kit lens that I got with my Nikon D40 probably 4 or 5 years ago now. And when I sold the D40, I decided to hold on to this lens so I can use it with an adapter for my Sony NEX. And so that's what I have here. I have the lens with the adapter. So I'm just going to go ahead and take off this adapter since it kind of makes the lens quite bulky and it's difficult to do a review with. But anyways, here's the lens itself. As I said, this is an 18 to 55 millimeter, or I'm sorry, 55 to 200 millimeter. I'll give you some of the specs. On the NEX, the 35 millimeter equivalent zoom is going to be more like 85 to 300 millimeters with that 1.5 crop. So it's going to give you a lot of zoom. And let's see, it's got 13 elements and 9 groups. 2 of them are ED glass. It's got a rather good amount of elements, 13 in all, for such a cheap lens, or a cheaper lens. The marked focal lengths are 55, 70, 85, 105, 135, and then your max at 200. It's got a silent wave internal motor, which for us NEX users doesn't mean anything because we can't use the autofocus and all that anyways. It takes a 52 millimeter filter, or filter thread size. It's 3.5 or 3.1 inches long and 2.7 inches wide, so it's rather compact. It's only 9 ounces, which is really light for this caliber of a zoom lens. The aperture range is f4 to f22 at 55 millimeter and f5.6 to 32 at 200 millimeter. It's got a 9-bladed aperture. It's gonna produce some rather circular bokeh shapes, so that's pretty cool. The one drawback for me using this lens is using it with the NEX. The only way to control the aperture is through this this switch back here that, when it's on a Nikon mount camera, has a mechanism to adjust the aperture, but doesn't have an aperture ring. So unless you find a Nikon to NEX adapter that allows for this control, which if you do find them, they're going to be pretty expensive. They're going to probably be about $60. So the one that I got, this Photosay Nikon to NEX adapter, doesn't have that. When I purchased it, I originally didn't think of the aperture control and how I was going to be a setback using this adapter. But what I found is that I take this little piece of a toothpick, and what I do is, since it's on a spring, I just open up the aperture a little bit, then I drop the toothpick in it, and that opens the aperture to probably about halfway. So in that halfway range, I'm gonna get probably my sharpest of images. So I don't know exactly what the aperture is set at, but I found that, you know, putting a single piece of a toothpick in there puts it in a nice place where it's good for you know, a lot of different situations, taking, you know, pictures with this lens. So that's just a little a pointer if you're gonna, you know, plan on using this lens with the Sony NEX. You're gonna have to either improvise like I did with the aperture adjustment, or you're gonna have to go for a adapter that allows for that. On the side here you can see it's got the auto or manual focus switch, which, you know, you're just gonna have to leave on manual using it with any camera other than a Nikon. Up here you have the focus dial, and then you got your larger zoom focal length dial. And I'll just give you a close up here of the badge, so you can see all the specifications and whatnot. And so, just like the other lenses, you have to put on the adapter. Got to find the mark on the adapter and align it with this red mark right here, and align it with that white mark, and then twist it until you hear a click. There you go. So now that's attached to the adapter, and then you have your E-mount here, so you can then put it on your Sony NEX camera. As you can see, this adapter adds quite a bit of bulk, but I mean, if you have already had this lens, it's not a bad idea to just go out and, you know, buy a $18, $20 adapter so that you can, you know, use this lens again with your Sony camera. Although you're going to have to use it, you know, as you would a legacy lens, just manual control. But with the new features on the Sony NEX, you know, the manual peaking, manual peaking focus marks, where it'll highlight the area that's focused. It allows you to much easier and much faster find the right focus with these legacy lenses, as well as the precision focus feature, where it'll zoom into what you're trying to focus in on. You know, that's especially good if you're going to take a 200mm shot. You're going to want to use the digital zoom to get in real close to your subject, so you can make sure the focus is perfect. Well, that's pretty much it. This is again the Nikon Nikkor 55-200 DX ED lens. It's not a bad lens to use with your Sony NEX, especially if you already have it. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Check out my photo blog, finleyphotography.blogspot.com, for example sample pictures taken with this lens. And if you liked the video, please press the like button, and also subscribe to my channel for future videos. Thanks for watching.